outside, people. Outside roadie shorts. I've done a few of these outside, but not too many.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm walking with Sam Boone. She was in last year's roadie shorts, but she agreed to do a second one because I'm doing a whole segment on women in touring. And you might have seen Sam and what she did on the job last time. We're making our way to the bus here so she can drop off her laundry because that's something else she does on the road.
Look, you know, a bug's got to do what a bug's got to do.
All right, it's exactly. You need clean clothes, you know?
It's the little things in life.
Anyway, I'm going to let her put her shit on the bus, and then we're going to have a seat over here and have a chat. All right. Sam Boone, back in action.
Hi.
So you and Gabe, actually, are the only two that have done two of these now.
Ooh.
Kind of cool, I think. What have you been doing since the last time we saw you?
Oh, a lot of running around like an idiot. I'm our audio systems engineer, and that's what I do pretty much all the time.
Right.
So I went out and spent some time with Lee Bryce, did a bunch of really different corporate work. Had like groups of people rent out to 1,000-seat arenas and like touring audio rigs of various brands of speakers. So I have done a lot of that.
Okay.
Did my brief in country, did a bunch of pop one-offs, did a bunch of festival season stuff.
And had some time off too?
I took like January, February off, and that was about it. I've been did some education consulting in March. Okay. Jumped back on tour in April.
What's that? Education consulting?
I am really lucky in that a couple of manufacturers or people that make the speakers that I system engineer and write the systems that I work with have invited me out, and they had redone some classes they were taking, so they invited me out to take their classes and give some feedback. And,
oh wow, that's great.
I did that for 2 different brands of PA, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm doing this whole women in touring segment with because we have a lot of women on this tour, which is pretty great, I think. What has changed for you over the years of just even being in the industry, not necessarily touring? I know you haven't been touring that long.
No, yeah.
Just in the industry, for you, like what have you seen change or not change that could be changed?
I think even pre versus post pandemic, there's been a lot more opportunities for people to tour because a lot of people left because of the pandemic, right? You also have a lot, especially in terms of women, you see more diversity now, I think.
Yep.
The barrier to entry, like, maybe isn't as high, sort of a thing. It's definitely something where I don't see that. Yes, there's aspects that make it difficult being a woman. There's also, it doesn't always work against you, right? Like, it's not, there's not this automatic thing anymore of, oh, you're a woman, you absolutely have no place here. Like that, in my mind, is pretty hard to come by. Yep. There's obviously camps that are a little more inclined to hire women, or maybe that prefer touring with women.
Yep.
And I'm really lucky in that I've been able to work for a lot of camps that really enjoy, you know, working with women. There's a lot of times where I'm not the only one on crew, which is really, really cool, because for the first 3 years of my career, that was not the case. And even one of the tours I did last year, I was still the only female tech out of every department. It's not good or bad, it's just different.
Yeah.
There's definitely more of a space for it.
Yeah, as you were saying, there are all different roles now too. It's not just a production, not just dressing room or whatever.
Yeah,
that you would kind of pigineal into a female job.
You've got more than wardrobe.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's you see lighting people now, more audio people, and even tour managers, right? Andy's our tour manager.
Absolutely.
Which is pretty great to see that spread out a bit. And do you think the respect level has gone up? Is that kind of?
Yeah, I like to think that's maybe not so gender based. I think it's more of a, you got to earn it, and I think it's like true for anybody in any role. I mean, if you're good at your job and you do your gig, you do it well. Yeah. You're going to be successful, right? It doesn't matter who you are. But the flip side is, I think it counts against you less now off the bat, especially if you know what you're doing.
Touring with other women, is it difficult, or is it, do you guys find you get along better, or? I'm not just speaking specifically about the women we're with.
I'm gonna make a caveat and say that everything depends on the people you're with. Like for me, I've learned that like my personal pain tolerance, like how much I love or hate a tour, depends on the people I'm working with, and not at all about the gig. I will say in general, most women I've met that have done this for a while and continue to do it are fairly like-minded, and it generally makes it a lot of fun. It's one of those things where they go, hey, like, here's a good shower, and it's kind of cool sometimes to like have a nice kind of girls' day off, where we'll all get our nails done, or we'll go hang out, or it is really nice to feel less like a dude sometimes. Like
so it brings that element.
Sometimes after a few months, I'm like, we'll answer to sir, and I'm like, I gotta go home. Like I gotta go back to girl. We gotta fix this, and so we'll all go like get our nails done, or get a haircut, or just hang out. And so cool. There is, I think, a level of natural camaraderie there that generally works really well, and has always been a lot of fun for me.
I figured there was, considering there is with the guys, so
there is.
It must be in a girl realm too.
I think it's almost more so for women, just because it's so few of us, and it's not every day you have 5, 10, 15 women on a tour. I mean, our fall tour, we had 15 women. Like even one of our riggers, it was wild. Every single department had at least one. Yeah, that's pretty great. What are you doing after this? After this tour? I'm going to pop over and take over Lindsay Sterling for a few weeks, which is going to be a really fun kind of combination of PA speakers. So it's
same job for you.
Yep. Spend my life in that role mostly. I'll do one tour a year as kind of like a utility tech, monitor tech, audio fix-it kid sort of gig. So I'll go from here straight to that, and then after that I'll go straight into a pop one-off.
If someone, male or female, wanted to do your job, how do they get into doing that? What's your advice? 'Cause I'm sure you've gotten asked before.
I do. I get asked a lot.
So what do you tell them?
And it is unusual to see a woman doing my job specifically.
Sure. Did you go through a point where you were hanging PA and shit like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I started out as a fly tech, monitor tech, and then worked my way up to monitor tech, monitor engineer for a while, and then I moved away from mixing into systems engineering. You see a lot of women in kind of like Krishaya's role, right? It was kind of a monitor tech, A2. You see a lot of women on kind of that stage end, and you see a lot of women more so if you're going to see a woman in an engineering position, you're going to see them mixing. It's really very unusual still, unfortunately, to see women doing like proper systems engineering, like large scale infrastructure engineering.
Right. So you think they should start at just a lower level and get their foot in the door somehow, or?
No, it's more of if you want to be a systems engineer, which is a little bit of an unusual thing to know, but hey, I mean, I tried everything else first, and I remember at one point I had a conversation with my mom when I was 18. I was like, I've tried everything else. I really hope I like this one, because if not, I gotta find a new job.
Was it everything related to audio that you tried?
Not everything, but a lot of the typical roles. I mean, I did patch, I did fly, I mixed front of house and monitors in various settings. Did the Weekend Warrior touring as a tech, and I was like, what about speakers? Like, this part is really interesting, but I don't want to hang them the whole time. I want to know how they work. And that's how I got into systems engineering. But if someone is really interested in that, there's obviously books you can read. It is a job that requires a lot of like studying. I mean, I read data for a living. I've run around with my million screens, and you see there's actual data and lines and frequencies, and there's a lot of math in the morning sometimes. Okay, where's this rigging going to go? What's your weight distribution? Is this safe to hang? How does this whole thing work? So there's obviously some books you can read. The Big Green Bible, we all joke and call it. It's called Sound System Design and Optimization by Bob McCarthy. I mean, I've sat down and read that thing cover to cover. It's a literal textbook.
I'll put a link in the description if I can find it online. Probably I can find it online.
Oh, yeah, totally. It's a literal textbook. It's very, very difficult. It's not that difficult to read. It just takes some endurance.
You got to really want to do it.
You got to really want to do it. There's another little red book called Between the Lines by Michael Lawrence, which is newer. That's like kind of like a field guide. It's like that's like a 101. Hey, I deal with speakers all the time. I maybe don't want to do this for a living, but that's probably a good place to start if you're interested. And honestly, just mentors, man. I have this job because my mentors taught me how to do it, and honestly, like, Denny was super patient with me, and I've learned a ton from him because he'd had my job before I did.
That's one of the best things. Yeah, that's one of the best ways to get to know a job or a skill, whatever you can get with somebody that already knows it.
Yeah.
And learn from them. Yeah, it's one of the best ways.
Even just asking people who are good at it questions.
Sure.
Even asking people not only where do I start, but
right.
My favorite question to ask people is, what do you wish you knew when you first started?
Sure.
I ask people that constantly.
Yeah. So what's yours?
I should have seen that coming.
Yeah. Fell into that one. Set that one right up for me.
I did. I think for me, I really wish I knew that not only is it not okay to not know things and to have questions, but it's also okay to not always have the answers, and to understand that maybe knowing what you don't know can be more important than what you actually do know.
Sure. Okay. That's cool. I dig it.
Yeah.
She's also part of a great podcast that I was honored to be on. I as a drum tech, it's called Signal to Noise. It's mainly audio people, as far as I knew, but they started to branch out a bit and put me on it. So I'll put a link below for that as well.
You should go listen to Pete.
The podcast, not just mine, but the podcast, the entire podcast.
Yeah.
It's pretty big. It's pretty big out there, right?
Yeah, we're really lucky, and we have about 25,000 listeners a month right now. We've over 200 episodes and over well over 500,000 downloads.
Yeah, I mean, if you're interested in
if you're interested in audio, we talk to like everybody. We talk to a lot of people. We've suckered Denny on it a couple times.
That's great. Yeah.
So see if we get Seb to hang out, but it'll be come hang out. There's the whole Discord, and seriously, if you're looking for mentors, that's a good place to go.
Oh, right on. Yeah. So there you go, people. Thank you for taking the time again.
Anytime, Pete.
To do this with me. Really. Appreciate you.
Anytime, dude.
Right on. Totally anytime. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye. That's one of the things that you definitely need on tour. You need clean clothes.
You do need clean clothes.
You can only wear the same underwear so many days in a row.
Don't be that guy.
No. Can't keep turning shit inside out.
No.
Only works once.
No. It doesn't even work once.
It doesn't even work once for her, apparently. For me, it works once. Not her.